push wide from second place by Zen Mitani, and his riders all over the shop at turn one. So it looks like we've got Vader from Uriarte, Morelli, and then Christian Daniel just behind them. David Gonzalez moves up the inside as well, in towards fourth, but he doesn't because Christian Daniel just pushes him right wide through there into 2B. It's all fairly sensible up towards turn 3.
And the ducking and diving, Christian Daniel looking for a way past, can't find it. It's Brian Uriarte second, then to Vader Patama as they call out of the first gear corner at the top of the hill. And they're all safely away so far, but Brian exactly where he wants to be, chasing Vader Patama, and he chased him all the way yesterday to pass him on the penultimate corner. I wonder if he's going to do the same thing. Christian Daniel Jr. on 70, but Morelli tries to squeeze him. Superb stuff, but Christian Daniel gets through. The American is up into third place where he finished yesterday.
Absolutely brilliant. You've got to keep an eye as well on Hakim Danish in 9th place, former championship leader now. He now sits second place in the standings, 4 points off the lead. He is where he started in 9th position. He's got the yellow helmet at the back of the first couple of groups. Keep an eye on his progress.
Yeah, superb start for all these guys. It really is building up into something special. I wonder whether Patama and Uriarte can break away.
Yeah,
Christian Daniel said he didn't get into the groove quickly enough yesterday. Up the inside of the number 11 is David Gonzalez. Christian Daniel said he didn't get into the groove quickly enough in the wet yesterday and was determined to do it today. He is now in the groove, right behind Brian Uriarte.
Wow, look at this. Christian, this is super impressive. He's not just quick in the wet as he was yesterday. He's quick in the dry too. That's where he got his first podium at the start of the year in Jerez. And we now have a 1, 2, 3. It looked like Vader was trying to break away at the start of it, but they've caught him right back up. Will we see any kind of moves in towards 2A and 2B? Daniel looking towards the inside, but thinks better of it.
And Marco Morelli was well off in the green stuff, exiting the first corner on that time. So we had some track limits warnings yesterday. They've got to watch that.
Towards turn 3 they come then. 54 leads from 51, 70, 95, 11, 34 of Mitani, 6th place, Singapore 7th, great stuff from him, pushing up from 8th place to 7th. As he's also overtaken Singapore now as well. Danish not making the progress that he needs to be making at this stage of the season.
Right, and Danny Revolta was saying that it's a case of make haste slowly round here with these stop-and-go corners. You can't go in. The temptation is to rush in late on the brakes, get it stopped, then turn, and he said you just screw yourself up completely. You cannot get out of the corner well. Watch a rider like Brian Uriarte who knows what he's doing. He's a little bit slower into the corner, but much quicker coming out.
We've got to hand it to Beñat Fernandez, the number 7. He's up from 24th on the grid to 11th in basically 1 lap. That is a heck of a great progression from the young Spaniard.
Yeah, he's already won 1 race and has got also a 3rd this year. The inside comes Christian Daniel to take the lead.
That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? So Vader goes from 1st to 3rd position as Daniel will come across the line leading this race. Vader looks just behind him. They do a bit of a twitch. You're allowed to do once, but you can't do it twice, 3 times, etc. They come towards turn 1. It's going to be Uriarte leading the way. Vader up the inside of Christian Daniel once again, so his lead was rather short-lived.
Yeah, and they've broken away. The group has broken away. Yaroslav Karpushin is back there in 6th place, and that's the rest of the field. I wonder if these leading group of 5 are going to hang on to it.
Gonzalez had a big twitch to the front end then.
He did, didn't he? He collected that up just in time to turn it right, but he lost a little bit of ground, but I think it could have been a lot worse.
Karpushin's absolutely on it, isn't he? He got a podium last time out in Sachsenring. He's got Danish for company just behind him, and the chase begins. They're 1 second off David Gonzalez at the line. We're going to come across the intermediate, second intermediate near enough, or on the exit of this corner. We'll see whether that gap is coming down or not. But the leading quintet, if they want to just have a race of their own, it's in their best interest just to absolutely pin it, because they've got Karpushin and Danish hot on their tails.
And if you saw the orange tape come off, got pulled off one of the bikes there, and another bit lying on the road, that is the tape that they have on the radiator at the start of the race. As the temperature rises, the riders can pull the tape off and give them full cooling.
There is Beñat Fernandez then. He was the fastest rider on track last time around, 0.2 of a second quicker than your leader, Christian Daniel. So he could well be a threat later in the race. But what's for certain is these front 5 riders are just absolutely drilling it. They're not interested in a big pack race. They want to have one of their own.
Yeah, that's right. And Brian Uriarte and Vedi Patama are well able to drag this group away from the rest of the field, but that isn't happening at the moment. It's 3 abreast on the brakes.
Oh, and Christian Daniel, the last on the brakes there, just lets them off a little bit later than everybody else. He's going to go across track limits, though, on the exit of that, which is the risk you run as they come now down towards 2A and 2B. Vader wants to go on the inside there again, but Christian Daniel just so late on the brakes, isn't he? Goodness me. And that is a bit of an example there. He slightly rushed the corner, but I don't think he sacrificed his drive too much there on this big hill climb up towards turn 3.
And I think he dragged Vedi Patama onto the green with him there at turn 1. But there's the chasing pack, including Benyat Fernandez, and they are closing in. They're visibly closing now. You don't need to see the too much about the timing screens, because you can see they are closing in.
And this is the danger, you know, Uriarte, Pratama, they do not want a big pack, because all that means is come the end of the race, they could be leading over the line on the towards the final lap and then finish up maybe 8th or 9th or something. They need every point that they can get. But the person who is in his best interest to bring the group all together, Hakim Danish.
Yeah, and he at the moment is back in 8th place, but closing in. And that group runs all the way down to what, sort of 16th, oh no, down to 20th position.
Goodness me, absolutely brilliant. There we go, the first of the track limits warnings coming in for Guillaume Plon already. You don't want that track limits warning already at this stage in the game, do you? Because one more time and you find yourself going through the long lap penalty.
Yeah, and there's Benyat Fernandez on the number 7. He certainly has the pace to drag this group, and there's who is that in the background, way off on the green that time. Right, so start and finish then. And there's somebody pulling off. That was Christian Daniel pulling his tape off the radiator as Brian Uriarte leads over Vedi Patama. Up the inside is Morelli on Christian Daniel. He does it. Morelli takes 3rd place.
It was 9/10 of a second with the chasing group across the finish line that time around, piece. They closed in by a 10th. But look at Brian out front. He's just thinking, no way, I'm absolutely going for it. Last time around, he set a 146.8. But actually, the fastest rider on track, Peter, is Joel Pons, back into 19th place at 145.9. So actually, there's a lot of pace in hand here for the riders. But do they want to burn up their tyres too quickly or not?
Well, Joel Pons, you know, he's had a lousy season and a half in Rookies Cup so far, but he was 6th in FP2. Made a complete mess of qualifying, didn't get a toe, but certainly he has pace round here if his FP pace is anything to go by. So it would be great to see Pons way up in this group.
Uriarte and Pratama, a bit like yesterday, just swapping places around various parts of the track then. Morelli sitting tight in 3rd position. Daniel just behind him as well. Here is that fast and flowing section of the track. That's not really an overtaking spot, Christian, but he didn't quite make it stick there. So we've got track limits warnings for Agostinelli, Brown, Modignane and Danish.
Hakim Danish, yeah, that is very much a warning. All 3 abreast again on the brakes.
Oh, no,
Marco Morelli. No plan B takes the lead.
Brilliant. No plan B up there once again. He's been a little bit quiet this year, hasn't he? Not what we expected from the Argentinian. Kicked off the year with a 5th and a 4th place finish. He got his first podium in Le Mans race 2. He's not been on the podium since. This is what we want to see from Morelli.
Yeah, he had 2 wins last year, and we want to see him on the top step of the podium. And Brian desperately trying to keep his KTM off the green stuff there as he chases Morelli away from the first corner.
And of course, him and Morelli came to blows back in Sachsenring, didn't they? And look at the gap then with the chasers. They are on it. They are going to catch them, I think, Peter. It was 6/10 of a second as they come across the first intermediate split there. So I think that's it. The leading pack have been caught officially. Fastest rider on track is that rider there, number 7 of Benyat Fernandez.
And of course, that group of 5 punches a big hole in the air, and that drags the other guys into the slipstream very effectively. So it's Brian Uriarte who takes up the lead from Vedi Patama.
So heavy on the brakes, and it's really steep downhill into turn 4 there. You can see the rear wheel of Uriarte is just popping off the ground momentarily. as they now come into the fast sweeping section as Guillaume Plot, first rider to have a long lap penalty for exceeding track limits. He's in 20th spot at the moment. That'll move him down, likely to last.
Right, and as you were talking about, you know, using up your tyres too much, these Pirellis are really superb tyres. They do drop off, the performance does fade away slightly, but it's very, very predictable. So the guys can feel what's happening and usually doesn't give them any nasty surprises. It's Brian Iriarte that leads, but up the inside now, it's David Gonzalez there on the number 11 into second place.
I think I saw Christian Daniel pushing Marco Morelli rather wide there in towards the penultimate turn. And there we have the weave-in. Riders trying to avoid the other riders catching too much of a slipstream. Morelli up the inside of Daniel again, just slots it there, goes a little bit wide onto the green then, so he might himself have a track limits warning, but they have officially been caught by the others. They've now got car pushing on their tail, car pushing moving up the inside, potentially, certainly of Morelli, but also potentially Daniel as well, not quite, as we see Morelli get pushed wide now by Beñat Fernandez moving up the inside. Danish side by side with Morelli in the background too.
So Iriarte leads from Gonzalez. I wonder now if Gonzalez has got with the fellow Spanish one, if the two Spanish can make a break for it. They've got the slightest advantage over Veda Patama in third place.
But they were half a second slower last time around than Karpushin, Peter, the Yugoslavian rider, Kyrgyzstani rider, sorry.
Look at this stuff, side by side. Hard on the brakes, the back end of the KTM hopping around there as Ryan turns it into the first right-hander. And Agostinelli has got a long lap penalty.
Yeah, that'll be a track limits thing as well. And it'll probably be, Pete, surely, that it'll be the final corner where there isn't really a lift. It'll be the first turn as well. That'll be where these riders are getting caught out.
Right, side by side then on the brakes. This is where Brian was so late yesterday and won the race, but this time it's Gonzalez who gets underneath him to take the lead. Keep off the green. Oh no, using every bit of road but staying away. And the number 11, David Gonzalez, a 17-year-old Spaniard. He has the lead now. Can Brian Iriarte and Veda Patama go with him?
Crucially, Peter, into 6th place as they cross the line that time around, Hakim Danish. Number 13 then, on the chasing pack, Iriarte and Gonzalez side by side coming into 2A and 2B. Who's going to be the last on the brakes? It is Gonzalez going way wide though. A big bubble for the number 11, and he's going to mess up the drive for other riders. They have to cut back across him, and then we're going to have Danish. He's going side by side. We've got 4 riders that press in towards turn 3. You got Danish. He's back in the 2nd place. It's 1, 2, 3 in the championship, 1, 2, 3 in the race, and it all changes in the blink of an eye as we see, unfortunately, Tines has gone down in the melee.
Yeah, he's obviously okay, trying to get going again. Absolutely superb stuff there. Brilliant to see Hakim on the number 13 now, splitting his 2 championship riders. That is the order they run in the championship. Iriarte, Danish and Veda Patama. 1, 2, 3.
And if you got David Gonzalez, who really lost out with that big mistake in towards 2A, he has now been pushed back to 8th position. So it's actually 1, 2, 3 in the championship, and the 5th rider of the championship, Beñat Fernandez, into 4th place in the race just behind him, all the way from near enough the back row of the grid. What a ride this is from Beñat.
Absolutely superb, and a great run from Hakim Danish as well. You know, Hakim, you know, he started the year with 5 second places and then a win. He can do it. It's just a mental thing that has messed up the recent races for the Malaysian. He's obviously expunged that from his brain now, and he is battling for the lead.
It's such a different dynamic, Peter, between the predator and the prey. You know, they were chasing him all the time throughout the season, but now he's on the back foot again. Iriarte's the one with more things to lose, per se, with a 4 points gap out the lead, and it's amazing how that could just change a rider's mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Iriarte is very strong mentally, and you see he actually had the better line than Veda through there. He got the drive out of it. Veda caught him going into the corner, but Brian Iriarte flicked it right and then left better to get the drive out.
Long lap penalty as well for Monagnane due to exceeding track limits. He's down in 20th at the moment, fighting with Plonk, who also had a long lap penalty. Agostinelli is just ahead of them. He's done his long lap penalty as well.
Oh, and Brian getting it a bit sideways on the brakes going in there, but he managed to hang on to it.
Who's that? That's Agostinelli, just gone down, having just completed his long lap penalty. That's a big shame for the Vietnamese rider.
Yeah. Presumably ruined his concentration, having to do the long lap penalty, and caught himself out. Anyway, back with the leaders then. Brian Uriarte still with the advantage over Patama and Hakim Danish. They got a very, very slight advantage over the 17 of Yaroslav Kapushin.
Kyrgyzstani rider, just what a tick up in form he's had since that pole in that front row start. Podium back in Germany. Really, really impressive. One of the youngest riders on the Rookies Cup grid, isn't he? Is Hakim Danish, went very wide there. That could have been a long lap penalty for Danish. He was certainly right on the edge of the white. Did he actually go onto the green? That is the question.
And he's still there in third place, and Christian Daniel Jr. up into fifth again. I think somebody way off in the green there. Christian Daniel Jr. He'd lost a few places, perhaps when that messy lap a couple of turns ago, but he's back in the hunt now, up into sixth place ahead of Morelli and Gonzalez.
Really, really impressive all this. I mean, what a change we've had in this race so far into a proper race in 2 miles. As we see a few riders gone down there.
Moin KJ is down, he's up again, and
Tassini, I think it is as well, who's had a rotten run of luck. He was taken down yesterday in that Tassini rider crash. Big shame for them. Here's what happened to it then. Monagnane, he was trying to go into the long lap, I think. Yeah, he was trying to go into the long lap and just had nowhere to go. Tassini just right in front of him. Unfortunate incident there. So, back at the front then, Peter. Vader from Uriarte, Danish, Karpushin, Benyat Fernandez, Daniel, Morelli and Gonzalez. The front 7, 8 riders now starting to pull away a bit. Ramadipa in ninth, Carter Thompson.
Danish, long lap penalty.
Yeah, there we go. Long lap penalty for Danish. He did go on the green, so that is it. He's going to have to take it as soon as possible.
He is really. There's just 7 laps. It's going to be 6 laps remaining. I wonder how quickly he'll see. He should come up on his notice board on his handlebars there to tell him. And of course, there's a board hung out at the start and finish.
Yes, straight away. Well done, well done, Hakim. And that is going to put him, well, way back. Goodness me. Well, this is part of it, unfortunately. That is going to put him, oh my goodness, 16th position. He's got it to do all again, Peter. I can't believe it, Hakim. Oh, what a shame. And as it stands, look at the gap this would bring into the championship with just 2 races left.
Yeah, it's a disaster. How cool can he be now? Can he get himself under control? Can he get back in the groove and chase after these boys and at least get a handful of points? Because it's his arch rivals running 1-2. Brian Uriarte and Vader Patama running 1-2. Karpushin is in third place, but it's the fact that Brian Uriarte and Vader Patama are running 1-2, which is the problem for Hakim Danish. He's back in 16th place. No points for 16th.
Goodness me.
Sullivan Mounds with the fastest lap of the race the last time round, back in 14th place.
So Peter, what does that mean? I mean, is it even Stevens? Because normally this means that actually, you know, it's actually quite a slow race. They're backing it up sometimes, but it doesn't look like it given the gaps at the front.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, does it? But as you say, you know, fastest lap for Benyat Fernandez, but then on the same lap, Sullivan went a little bit quicker, back in 14th place as well. So, anyway, right, so it's Uriarte from Patama. There's the 70 of Christian Daniel Jr. back there in 6th place. Just been passed by Gonzalez. Benyat Fernandez in 4th place on the number 7. Chasing Karpushin, number 17. And so far, Brian Uriarte and Vader Patama absolutely unable to do what they did yesterday, which was race ahead at the front of the field.
Be very careful of the green stuff on the exit of that turn. Joel Pons having his best ride of the year so far at the moment. The number 16 into 10th place, just behind Carter Thompson towards the back of the grid. So this is a great ride for the pair of them. Joel Pons really needs a finish like this, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Hakim Danish up into 15th as they cross the line that time, so he has 1 point at the moment. Earned one.
Very nearly nil for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Hakim, a real shame because, wow, what a blockbuster of a finish, a real Spielberg thriller we were in for with all three of them. We're still in for one in general, but how good would it have been with top three in the championship all battling out for the top three positions in the final part of the race. Still 5 laps to go, a fair way. We'll keep an eye on Danish. He's up in a 14th at the moment.
And it looked to me, Danish did a 1:49. Most of the guys ran to a 1:45. So that means it cost him, you know, it cost him 4 seconds, that long lap penalty.
Yeah, it really is. It is a proper penalty, mate. No mistake. You know, that's why you can't take the mick with the track limits, because it will ruin your race potentially, or in this case, it could potentially ruin your championship.
Side by side, then briefly they are, but Brian is so quick into that right-hander.
Gonzalez has recovered, and Gonzalez has recovered. He's in 3rd place now then. A brilliant move up the inside of car pushing at the penultimate turn, and he had such a great drive through there that he's almost catching up to both Vader and Brian out front. A 1:44, the first one that we've seen of the race so far then, and it is Gonzalez on a mission. Here is Hakim Danish, 14th place at the moment. He is closing steadily on the riders in front of him, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, he's lapping at a very similar pace to the men in front, but of course he's got to go quicker. It's almost the same lap time as Uriarte and Pratama in the front.
You can only hope for some misfortune to befall the 2 title rivals ahead of him, which is always in the realms of possibility, but they are looking very, very strong out front, both Uriarte and Pratama. They have basically been in the top 3-4 positions the entire race, the only riders to do so. They are just on another level here.
So, Uriarte. Now, this is the opposite, of course, of what happened yesterday, which was Vader leading all the way, and Brian Uriarte watching what he was doing, where he was going, and picking just the right moment on the last lap to pass. Now, this time, it's Vader who is watching Brian to see where the Spaniard is quickest.
Morelli's also recovered then after being completely pushed wide a few laps ago now. He's kept it calm. He's back up to 4th position. It's now a leading quartet. You've got Beñat Fernandez leading the chasers just behind him, but how much tyre is he used up coming all the way from the back of the grid towards the front now as they go 3 abreast again. David Gonzalez up the inside, pushes, I think, Vader Pratama quite wide. He does, can't push it, goes wide as well. So it's now Morelli into 3rd place, Vader in 4th.
Yes, and the number 11 of Gonzalez has the lead. He was disappointed yesterday. He got pushed back to 5th in the end, but he's having a superb ride this time in the dry. Morelli on the 95 there, up into 2nd place, takes that from Gonzalez. Uriarte has the advantage in the lead.
Well, Danish set a 1:45.2 last time around. He's quicker than about the next 9 riders ahead of him. But is it going to be enough? He's still 1 second adrift from the chasing back, and he's got it all to do, bless him. Come on, Hakim.
Well, hello and welcome. Have it. Great to hear from Zen. What a first year.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it was a really fun race. Yeah, I lost the 1st position, but still get podium, and I get the point. It's good for the championship.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot about this race, and yeah, I'm super happy. I think I'm later in the championship, so better. And yeah, super happy, but tomorrow we have another race.
Well, there you have it. Red Bull Ring always producing.
And Agustinelli in 17th. Then behind them, you have Tinez, Brown, Tassini, Van Kooten, Alejandro Fernandez, Kade Monignane, David Costa, Joel Pons with 6 points, and Lennox Famara still searching for a first Rookies Cup point this year.
Yeah, and of course, you know, it's, as you say, you know, it's a really tough weekend for Hakim Danish. But if you remember Mugello, you know, just how many points Vader Pratama got over the over both Brian Uriarte and Hakim Danish and Morello. If it turns around in Misano and Danish has that sort of weekend, it can still be very much his. So that,
right.
yeah. So there it's Marco Morelli in third place. We were talking about the selection event, and the man to give out the trophies here is Harold Bartol. He's part of our committee at the selection event. Harold, the legendary Austrian engineer, he was actually responsible for the design of the 125 KTM two-strokes which we used for the first 6 seasons of Rookies Cup. He himself was a GP racer back in the 1970s, and he scored 13 podiums. Absolute legend is Harold Bartol. Those superb trophies, they're beautiful trophies. Of course, they're replicas, really, of the statue that stands in the middle of the circuit.
Which really is absolutely enormous, isn't it?
It is, and it's fantastic during the day, but in the evening when you leave and it's dark or the sun's going down and the spotlights are on it, it's absolutely sensational, isn't it?
Well, that's a pretty special trophy there for Brian Uriarte. He takes a Sunday victory. Absolutely cracking. Time then for the Spanish national anthem once again. Towards the inside with Zen Mitani. The highlights from the Rebel MotoGP Rookies Cup Race 2 in Spielberg, all dry running with Vader Pratama, the number 50. Since, was it Le Mans that he was on the podium?
Yeah, it was. It was race two at Le Mans that he was third. You know, and he got a 4th in Mugello. But as I say, last year he won 2 races, Jerez and Assen. So he's still got to put that right. Oof. Zen Mitani, he loses a position through exceeding the track limits on the last lap. So no, it's not been a lucky weekend really for the Japanese ace.
No, but I think still 9th place is pretty solid for a first year. He'd be happy enough with that. Morelli though, what does he make of 3rd place? Dominica, absolutely brilliant. What does he make of that?
This was a wonderful race. Tell us, how hard did you push to get on the podium?
Yeah, and there is
Absolutely brilliant.
yeah.
And clearly, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great ride, and you know, Marco Morelli had another superb ride. He can win any weekend. We've seen him blitz the field and totally dominate. I think he lost it this time, just being too quick in and therefore too slow out of the hairpin at the top of the hill. That cost him, and he couldn't quite get back from that, because Brian Uriarte and Vader Pratama capitalised on that to get back in the front on that final lap.
So, Uriarte, Pratama, Morelli, the top 3. Gonzalez took 4th. He was sensational today, as was Christian Daniel, as was Beñat Fernandez. Ramastorpa signs off on home turf with a 7th place. Carter Thompson comes from the back to 8th. That is brilliant from him too. Zen Mitani, 9th place, still highly respectable as well. 10th then, at the end of it with that long lap penalty, was Yaroslav Karpushin. Then we have Sullivan Mounty, Janja Ramadeepa, Hakif Danish, the number 13, finishing up in 13th. Well,